Welcome to Brewsers, a podcast about beer, coffee, booze, and bruisers. I'm your host, Rody John, and today we talk to Alek with Broda Vodka. We talk all about how they took their family recipe and made it a business, what Broda means, and so much more. This is such a fun conversation I had with Alek. Broda Vodka is definitely something you are going to want to try out. It is not your regular own vodka. You will hear far more about that in a minute. But first, make sure to sign up for our newsletter. It comes out twice a week. You get even more information about our guests. You get fun facts, and you get to find out what's happening with your favorite podcast, all about beer, coffee, booze, and bruisers. So without further ado, here is Alek with Broda Vodka. I'm here with Alek from Broda. How are you doing today, sir?
Good. How are you?
Doing well. So we'll get into Broda in a second, but let's go all the way back in time. What is your earliest memory of alcohol?
Earliest memory of alcohol is I was an altar boy as as a kid. So those 6 a.m. Wednesday masses, little bit of wine and off we go to do some math at school. So that was other than that, I mean, our brand is based off family tradition. So
Right.
that lemon honey vodka that's been around ever since I can remember.
Well, I mean, you already kind of started it in on that. So Broda is a vodka with lemon, honey, and actually ginger now. But from what I read, the family recipe didn't call for ginger for the longest time.
Yeah.
Uh, let's go first. How old is this recipe?
Yeah, so that we actually aren't fully sure of.
Okay.
We know it was our uncle's recipe before it was me and my brothers.
Mm-hmm.
And he got it from his father before him. We know that. And then his father got it from his father. But before that, we're not sure. That's unfortunately the coming out of Eastern Europe, especially out of Poland, the history gets a little shady there. But
Yeah.
we'd like to think it's been going on for thousands of years. Who knows?
Of course. I mean, with a simple recipe like that, it probably has gone on for thousands of years. So, I mean, go into it. What all is the base recipe, and then when did the ginger actually get in there?
Yeah. So basically the way that we make it, it's we zest the lemons, we peel and grate the ginger all by hand, even to this day. We steep it into the base of the spirit, which is a vodka. It ages for a period of time. It pulls out all those oils and those flavorings, and then we juice all the lemons, blend that in together, and add in honey that we are getting. We're getting a raw honey from Michigan, so it's unheated, unpasteurized. Really keeps all that flavor in there. And then we age it, and then we bottle it. But yeah, so and the way that the ginger actually came in was I made a bottle for my brother one time for his, I believe it was his 31st or 32nd birthday.
Mm,
And I surprised him with a batch because I had just learned how to make it.
right.
Um, and he tasted it and he said that he tasted some ginger. He's like, wow, this is actually a really good idea. I can't believe you put ginger in there. And I wasn't, interesting or cool enough with he was the kind of the palate guy, the flavor guy.
Mm.
And so he tried it. He was like, did you add ginger? I said no. And he was like, well, we should. And from that
Uh,
point on, we started adding it in. We got the right amount, and the rest is history. I mean, it's a great combo,
right.
the ginger with lemon and honey. So
No,
yeah,
it's true. I mean, people have been doing that for years as well, but with other things. So the thought to just put it already in a recipe that you guys have had for thousands and generations down the line,
yeah,
why not? Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Well, where did you guys get the idea to take this family recipe that you guys have had, like we just mentioned, generations past, and make it into an actual business yourself and let the world taste it?
Right. Um, I've always kind of had a little bit of an entrepreneurial bug.
Mhm.
My favorite show growing up was Shark Tank, a little cliche, but I did really enjoy it.
Well, what
And
do you think of Mark Cuban leaving? Do you think, I mean, he's been there since the beginning. So, and he's done absolutely amazing things for so many different other entrepreneurs. And then what he's done with his own portfolio, I mean, Jesus. So,
yeah.
what do you think of him leaving? I guess, since you are a
Um,
big Shark Tank fan.
well, to be honest, recently I haven't been watching as much.
Okay.
So I didn't know that he left. But I'm sure he had his reasons and whatnot. He wasn't always my favorite shark though. I kind of always
Ah,
liked Robert Herjavec the most, and
yeah,
then Kevin O'Leary. He's kind of a mean guy, but at the same
sure.
time, it was fun to watch. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's good show, great show. It's a lot of good emotion going on.
Yeah. Sorry, I sidetracked you. Go back to
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Sorry, what was the question again?
So no, you're fine. How did you make the decision to make this family recipe into something that everybody else can enjoy as well?
Right. Yeah. So entrepreneurial bug.
Hmm.
I went to college with the intention, and I did get a finance degree, but I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I didn't like it. I got an internship in commercial real estate, did a
Mm-hmm.
desk job for a while, didn't like it, and kind of driving back and forth from that job because it was a 45-minute commute.
Oof.
I would listen to a pot, and the way back was actually an hour 15. I would listen to a podcast called How I Built This,
I've heard that. Yeah.
which is with, I'm sure you know it, with Guy Raz, and
Mhm.
that was very inspiring for me. And I kind of after that summer, I promised myself I wasn't going to get a conventional job, at least, as much as I could, do my own thing. And so then it got my gears turning of how can I do something that I already know how to do that's unique to everything else. And my brother Peter, the one that I made that special batch for, he tasted the ginger. He has had a lot of background in beer. He worked for Molson Coors for a long time.
Nice.
And so I was kind of, and he's, 12 years older than me. So I did a lot of back and forth, like, hey, what do you think about using our family recipe? Do you think this is different enough? And he was kind of saying, I've always wanted to do this too, but we have a lot of research that we have to do. Is there something like it in the market? Has someone tried it before? If so, why has it failed? All
Hmm.
that kind of stuff. And that really got my gears turning. And it took about 6 months until I really started getting serious about it. But then at school, I joined like an incubator. I did a couple pitch competitions, won one of them, tied second for another one,
Nice.
and then took a bunch of entrepreneurship classes as well. And then really just kind of told myself I'm gonna burn burn the ships and just go for this full time after I
Yeah.
graduate. And that's what I'm doing right now. And yeah, yeah, it's been good. It's
I
been
love that.
it's been a little stressful, but it's been really fun.
Oh, of course. I mean, getting into this world, so I've been, lucky enough to be in the alcohol world for over 15 years now. And, you see so many things come and go. There's so many different fads that are coming through. I saw the rise of Moscato just off Drake rapping about it one time. Now there's so many different Moscatos that just, give you diabetes. And then there, just the different waves and stuff. And the whole seltzer thing happened and people thought that was a fad. Clearly it's not. It's gone on and spun off to be so many different things. Now it's actually really helping in the CBD world as well and THC world when it comes to seltzers.
Right.
But when it does come to vodkas, it kind of has just, all right, we got the flavors in there. And then everybody was like, all right, how many different, ways can we distill it and, run it through all these little filters? But for the most part, it's stayed the exact same for well over a decade. And then now we have like yourselves that are being like, okay, well, like you said, we had this recipe for thousands of years and it just we passed down, which, you guys have probably had it on a piece of paper. Probably other people generations before you just did it by mouth, and that's how they remembered how to do everything. And they did it 1,000 times over and over again too, I bet.
Yeah.
So you guys are really helping to make, I guess, make vodka cool again. And also it's a recipe as old as time. So like you guys are doing something different inside the market that has already been kind of stagnant for a long time. What has been kind of the feedback y'all have gotten from, making, a better vodka now?
Yeah. Well, thank you for saying that we're making it cool again. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. Yeah, because I mean, vodka alone can be a little boring. Some people
Yes.
claim that it all tastes the same. Other people claim that they taste every single little nuance.
Right.
I am by no means a vodka expert. I'm trying to learn about it, but I like to consider that we're more of flavor people, that we know how to
Very.
use that old school modern production style and really create interesting, complex flavors, not just lemon vodka or not
Hmm.
just, pineapple flavored, whatever. It's we're using a lemon, we're using a special sweetener that's not only less processed than a standard sugar,
Yeah.
but it gives you a different mouth feel. It gives you a
Yeah.
different taste, and then also that tertiary flavor, that ginger.
Hmm.
It gives it just a little, just enough of a little kick, a little bit of a heat, but not enough to, make you think that you can't even take a shot of it if you wanted to.
Right.
It's very easy for someone who's just started drinking to drink it, and it's very easy for someone who's, an actual connoisseur to enjoy it because of all those different natural flavors and how they all kind of combine together and really balance out nicely. At least that's the feedback that I've gotten. This is not completely biased, I promise you. Um, but yeah, no, it's really exciting to do that because I'm starting to see that people are excited about lemon, honey, and ginger. Or when I say it,
Right.
I'm doing a tasting at a store. They're like, okay, yeah, I'll try all three. And I'm like, no, it's already in the bottle.
Yeah.
It's all these flavors already here. It's the same bottle. But yeah, and we have other flavors that we want to go ahead and do as well. And this isn't the only one. There's plenty of others that we can go with and we're experimenting with right now. Um, and it's just interesting to see as well that people don't understand that with alcohol, especially with spirits, you don't have to have an ingredients label on the back. And we're
Right.
choosing to do that ourselves because we want people to be open up their eyes to why is this really different? There's no emulsifiers, there's no preservatives, there's no
Hmm.
additives. When our bottle sits on the shelf, you get some sediment in it, but just like the best, freshest orange juice, you're going to get sediment in that as well. So there's just kind of a lot of dots we're trying to connect between the consumer and us, but I think it'll take a little bit of time, but hopefully they do see that sometimes the best things are the oldest things, the modern
Right.
traditional recipes and not using syrups and concentrates, blending it together. I can go on for that, on and on about that, but yeah, that's kind of what we've been seeing.
That's awesome. I mean, ginger's also so good for gut health as well. And I think a lot more people are really starting to realize that. I mean, obviously they're taking it in pills, they're doing it. I think like the Olipop are good for gut health as well, and that's good natural soda for you. And then you
Right.
guys are really helping out with that as well. I mean, all natural flavors. And I'm glad that you guys are actually putting the ingredients on the back. I think a lot more people who want to be as transparent as you guys are showing that like no, this is literally everything we have in here. Why would we want there? We're not trying to fool anybody. We're not trying to I mean, here in America we have done such a great job of putting the most fake stuff in a lot of our stuff and then be like, oh yeah, it's everything's all natural. It's like, okay, well, what's the list? It's like, we'll get it to you, and then we'll never do. And but just because we people, yes, they a lot of people do really want to know what's going on and they're putting in their body, but a lot of people just want the thought process of, oh, it's all natural. It's probably good for me. Okay, well,
Yeah.
what's in it? Oh, I mean, it's got to be natural stuff, right? No, that's not how that works at all.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it's funny. I've actually heard recently, the only thing, shoot, what was the quote? It was something about how the only thing that you can trust less than an advertising label or than a liquor label is a politician, something like that. Like it's like they're the kind of the stories that you can put on those labels
Uh-huh.
and all it's just you can say whatever you want. You can say it's premium when it's just, the most basic green neutral spirit made in, billions of gallons at a time, not
Right.
filtered at all. You know what I mean? It's like you can just say basically whatever you want, get it approved. And so yeah, it's kind of like we want to give that breath of fresh air to people, but it's also kind of sad to see. I don't think a lot of people know that there's this much hidden in an alcohol label. So,
Yeah.
but for those that know, we are there.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, so I mean, let's talk about your uncle because he's the one who, you guys really got the inspiration from. From what everything you guys have been saying on your website, he seemed like the most interesting man in the world. Like, tell us more about this guy.
Yeah, no, we wanted is very similar to the most interesting